Hello and welcome to my channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Bohlale Paile, and for those of you that have been with me for a while, welcome back. On my channel, I focus on helping individuals get corporate ready. So whether you're a graduate, whether you're transitioning careers, or whether you just want to really upskill your professional skills, this is the platform where I share all my tips and tricks of how you can get corporate ready. Now, for those of you that don't really know me and my background, this video is really just going to take you into a deep dive into my professional background so that you know the person that you're listening to, and you also understand the context in which I share the knowledge that I'll be sharing on this platform. So just to give you a bit of context of myself, my background, education, experience, and how I got to doing what I do now. I started off studying at Wits University. This is where I studied my Bachelor of Commerce in HR and in Industrial Psychology. I then further did my honors in HR and Management as well at Wits University. Now, just like most of you, I didn't know what I wanted to study when I started university, right? I kind of went in thinking, okay, my parents say I need to study, I need to do something that actually fits my personality. What does that look like? And so I went through a process of elimination to say, do I want to do a BSc? No. Do I want to do a BA qualification? No. What am I left with? Bachelor of Commerce. Okay, maybe that's broad enough to just get me into a corporate job and I'll see where I want to go. I never actually wanted to do a corporate job, right? That is not something that I desired to do, but it is something that, as you're growing up, your parents always tell you, you need to study, you need to get a job. And so that's how I gravitated then towards a broad commerce qualification. And later on, after my first year, I still felt like I didn't quite know what it is I wanted to specialize in within commerce. And that's how I then took the opportunity to go to a career counselor who then did all of these different tests to understand my strengths, what I love to do. And how it ended up was that you would be good with people, you'd be good with engaging with people. How about you consider a career in HR, right? And so that is how I got to decide that that is the career that I wanted to do. And that's how I then followed it through by also coupling industrial psychology with it so that I could marry the technical aspect of HR plus the human and psychological element of it as well. I then started a journey working at Investec Bank, which is a phenomenal organization. And that is really where I learned the concept of excellence, right? It's a massive brand. It's got a lot at stake at any given point in time. And so everything they do is it's really focused on being excellent at what you do and really upholding the company brand with everything that you do, how you walk, how you speak, how you present yourself. And that for me was a big eye-opener in my career. I spent about 3 years there. And in that time, I then was part of a team that looked after the graduates, right? We were hiring chartered accountants from different universities and looking after them for a 3-year period on the program. Guys, I tell you now, that is when I fell in love with graduate recruitment and graduate development. For me, I find the role so fulfilling. I love the fact that I can change someone's life, right? Because when you're at university, most of you know, you don't really know what direction you want to take, where to from here, and being the person that's guiding you to saying, listen, this is what you need to do to get here. Once they get there, this is how you adjust. This is how you go through this process, that process. I love it. Love, right? So spent some time there, fell in love with it. Thereafter, moved over to Standard Bank. And whilst I was at Standard Bank, I think my reason for moving to Standard Bank was, let me try something different outside of grad recruitment. Because at the time, there's so much for you to learn from an HR perspective that you don't want to necessarily silo yourself and you don't want to specialize too early in your career, right? And so I decided to go into Standard Bank and do a generalist role. A generalist is really just a little bit of everything within the HR spectrum, from talent management to performance management to IR, all of those different aspects. And I found that a lot of the times I was spending time with the graduate team who happened to be on the same floor as I was sitting as a generalist. And I kept going there to say, oh, what are you guys doing? They were always packing things. There was always events happening and all of those things. And I found that in the little gaps I had, I'd started building and forming relationships with the guys within the grad space. And that is how I learned what it means to pivot, right? If you're stuck in a particular role, in a particular career, and you're thinking, this is not where I kind of want to be, I learned the art of being able to pivot back into something that you love, or to start building a skill of something that you love, even if you're not doing that role full time, right? I learned a lot in my time in Standard Bank. It just so happens that the head of the corporate investment banking grad program resigned. And who was the first person they thought about? Bohlale, right? Because Bohlale is always here. She spends all her free time here. And so I then was approached to say, do you want to come back into grad? And obviously, my answer at that point was an absolute yes. What I loved about my time there, I learned so much about all the different disciplines. I no longer was limited to just looking after chartered accountant, but I was looking at risk. There was an IT program, there was a CA program, there was a finance program, so there were so many different types of programs that one could get involved in. And now you had to learn how to recruit all these different people into different aspects of the organization. Absolutely loved my time there. But thereafter, I moved over to Bowmans. Now, Bowmans is a top 5 law firm in the country, and I spent 6 years there. And the reason I spent such a long time there was because culture of the organization really spoke to who I was, right? That is such an important aspect of when you look for different roles and different organizations that you want to work for, understanding the culture, the people, how they work, becomes such an important aspect for you to really be thinking about, because I found that it was the type of place where I was trusted. I loved the personalities that were at that place. So important for you to gel with the culture and the environment that you work in, right? So I spent 6 years there, and really at that point, I was in a position where I was heading up the graduate recruitment and development portfolio of the organization. Now, that for me was the best time of my career because I owned a portfolio. I was able to make the decisions around how we're going to go about recruiting, what does the campaign look like, what are some of the aspects that we're going to be changing up, what else could we add. So it allowed me to use some of my creativity in the actual role, which I absolutely loved, but also it was the kind of environment that allowed me to do that. Not every environment is like that. A lot of environments that you may go in, people want to micromanage you. They want to tell you how to do your job. And they don't give you the creative license to be able to actually just do from your own expertise, from your own knowledge, and from your own creativity. Now, that's an important aspect for you to be learning as you go. During my time at Bowmans was when I had a mentor for the first time, and there's so many aspects and nuggets that are so important about having a mentor. And towards the end of the time, we went through the COVID period as well. Whilst I was there, we did a lot of fun online stuff as well in the organization. And that for me was really a highlight of my career. It was at that time that I started thinking, sure, I love graduate recruitment and talent development so much. But I feel limited. Right now, I'm just looking after law students, and I feel like there's so many other people that I could be helping in terms of upskilling, helping them learn how to transition into the world of work. Because it wasn't just about recruiting people, but it was also about once you've landed, how are we developing you and how are we making sure that you're having a great journey along the way? Now, that for me really gave me the tools and the knowledge to see firsthand from thousands of people that I've interacted with over the years, what works, what doesn't, what kind of people naturally integrate into a corporate culture, who are the kind of people that really struggle, why do they struggle, right? And how can I, based on my experience from my own corporate journey, but also based on other people that I've trained and looked after and developed over the years, how can I give of my knowledge to people so that they can have a smoother transition into corporate and know what to expect and how to then deal with it. And that was the birth of the YouTube channel, Get Corporate Ready. It's me pouring my heart into all of you that are on this channel, that are watching all the videos that I post on here, in just helping you navigate your world of getting into corporate. After my time at Bowmans, I then landed a role as head of HR within Transaction Capital, and I'm currently assisting one of the biggest subsidiaries called We Buy Cars as the head of HR there. Now, being the head of HR as an HR executive really encompasses all different aspects of HR. And one of my greatest achievements at Transaction Capital was starting up their first CA program. We called it the Immersion Program, and it was the first chartered accountant program that they had at the organization. And it also encompassed having vacation programs as well, which I was able to start from scratch, and what a phenomenal experience I had doing this. And so over the 13 years that I've been working, I've gained a ton of experience in terms of recruitment, development, talent management as a whole. And those are really the aspects that I absolutely love and gravitate towards. And as an HR professional, trust me, I've learned the tricks of the trade and I know exactly how to help someone develop in their corporate career. So the idea of what I do on Get Corporate Ready is really to help young people navigate and transition from university into corporate, and really giving you the tools that maybe you don't have the luxury of being taught, right? Not everyone has a background where your parents are working in corporate and therefore you know exactly what to expect, how to behave, right? And that was the distinguishing factor, that people that had parents that were in corporate, you could see how seamlessly they were able to integrate into the world of work, and others that weren't. Others are coming from kind of being the first one going to varsity, being the first one having a full-time corporate kind of job. Those candidates didn't know how to. And what I learned very quickly is that really had a knock-on effect on their confidence and how they showed up in the world of work. And for me, I knew firsthand that it had nothing to do with a lack of capability, right? These guys came in, they were as qualified as anyone else that had come into the organization, yet they just lacked the knowledge and the know-how and a lack of understanding of the lingo and how to navigate and what to do and what not to do. And so that's why I'm here, and that's what I love to do. So whether you're a seasoned professional or just getting into corporate, I invite you to join me on this channel and upskill yourself in getting corporate ready. So make sure you're hitting that subscribe button and notification bell so that you do not miss any of the videos that are coming up that are just gonna help you transition that much easier into the world of work. Hey, before you go, I want to share something with you that I think could be of massive benefit. If you're someone who's gearing up for a job interview or simply wants to improve their interview skills, I've created a 10-step interview prep guide that I think you'll find extremely useful. In it, you'll discover tips and techniques that have helped countless others land their dream jobs. So don't hesitate to click the link below to grab your free guide now and start preparing to ace your next interview.